Hey everybody, hope everyone's doing well. Like mentioned before, we're going to get into our Facebook Live here about tactics the biggest subscription stores are using to grow their business. So just a quick introduction of myself. My name is Bobby. I'm the e-commerce community specialist here at Bold. For you guys who've been in the group for a little while, you see me post. I'm here with Jay, co-founder of Bold. We're going to jump right into it. Just to make sure everyone can see us okay, if you could just hit the like button, just so we know everything's working all right. Also, we know that a lot of the people in this group are actually from all over the world, so if you guys want to post where you're watching from, that'd be really, really cool to see. And then in regards to questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. We're going to do our best to get to them at the end and hopefully cover the most important ones or just the ones we can get to. With that being said, we will get into it. I'll pass it off to Jay, and we'll get started. So go for it, Jay.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Subscriptions are a thing we care a ton about at Bold. We have a huge team dedicated to it. We launched our first, it's still our subscription app, but we launched our Bold subscriptions back in 2014. It's got tens of thousands of people using it. It's a big focus of ours, and seeing subscription stores succeed is really important to us as well too. So thank you for taking the time. I'm going to just quickly touch on a few different things and then dive into what we're doing is we're going to talk about 3 things that we see some of our largest merchants do to really have successful subscription businesses. So before we go into that, I know there's probably some of you that are running subscription businesses, and there might be some of you that are thinking about it. So I want to just throw up a couple quick fun stats here. Let me just get back to my screen here. So 178%, this number, think about what it means. I'm going to show you in a second. But 178%, that is the percentage higher lifetime value for subscription customers versus one-time customers. So obviously shows the value of a subscription customer versus a one-time. 41%, this is, can you guess what it is? This is the percentage of all retail in the US that comes from repeat customers. And what's crazy is 8%, that's the number of customers that are repeat customers. So 41% of all sales comes from just 8% of customers. So it's already starting to paint a picture of the value of repeat customers and how obviously subscriptions can help make customers repeat customers. 125 days. This is just an interesting stat. That's the average length of a subscription. 5x to 25x. Guess what it is? That is based on a report by McKinsey, the how many times more expensive it is to acquire a new customer versus a market to an existing one. So they're more valuable, they spend more, and they cost less to acquire. All pluses so far. And then one last huge plus, which we've started to really notice lately, and that's 8x. And what that number is how much more your company is worth based off recurring revenue versus one time. So basically, if you were doing $1 million in sales and you're selling one-time products, roughly your company's worth top line revenue, so around $1 million. And of course, this depends on your growth rate and a lot of other factors, but that's a rough estimate. If you're doing $1 million of completely recurring revenue, your company's worth roughly $8 million. Again, this changes with the market and other trends, but it's kind of rough. So it's more valuable, they're easy to acquire, and your company's worth more if you have the revenue. So kind of like all good. So we do a lot of things at Bold. We have a suite of products, and one of the things unique about Bold products is we really focus on making our suite of products work well together. We have a lot of products, and sometimes people think that, because we have a lot, maybe we don't focus on one. We're actually a team of well over 300 people. I think we're around close to 320 now, maybe 310. So we have big teams on these products, and one of the advantages is we try to make sure they work as well together as possible. But the one we're going to talk about today is Bold Subscriptions. That's a solution we care a lot about, and that encompasses a lot of things. That's like box of the month, mystery boxes, build a box, basically any type of subscription model. So just one thing, could have had this in the last slide, but one thing I just want to highlight, this is the growth rate of e-commerce in general in the world. It's averaged 21.8% for the last, well, since 2014. When we look at subscription growth rate, since 2011, it has grown no less than 100% per year. So it's the fastest growing segment within a fast growing segment, which is e-commerce. So subscriptions are definitely something if you're not doing that, they're worth considering. They're growing fast. Customers love it. A lot of other benefits as well too. And then this is just reflecting the market, why they're growing so fast. So, and of course, like the biggest brands are all doing it. All these logos you see right now weren't doing subscriptions 9-10 years ago. Now it's a major part of their business model for all of them, and of course many other brands, but these are just some you'd recognize. So I'm gonna just flip through a few stores that they're using our Bold Subscriptions app, so they can take many shapes and forms. This is an example of just a very basic widget. Works great on a product. You can have a one-time or a subscription purchase. You can of course style it any way you like. This is another Bold Subscription customer. They've styled it differently. It defaults to the subscribe option, kind of separates it out. You can get really fancy and have a full subscription wizard where the customer kind of goes through a step-by-step process. This is Sock Fancy. They do a great job of it using Bold Subscriptions as well. So it can look like that. This is Scratch Coffee. They have a similar flow where it's kind of a visual wizard where you pick your blend, you pick your how many bags you want, you pick your frequency, and it's all visual. So like every week, every other week. All this is the same app, just styled differently in the front. This is VDog. They make vegan dog food. They do a really good job of integrating upsells within subscriptions. So you can upsell a subscription, and then what's neat is you can have a blended mix. So they sell one-time products. They have different subscriptions. So you can see in the same cart here, they're selling a subscription for something 1 month, a subscription for something that's going to ship every 2 weeks, and then they've got a one-time order in there as well too. So this same checkout is going to have something shipped today. Well, all three of these will be shipped today, and then the Wiggle Biscuits every 2 weeks, and then the Kinder Kibble Minis every month. So again, some flexibility there. And then you could just have your whole cart as a subscription product. So this is if you look on the right here, this is an example of how this site, you add all the items you want to a cart, and then you subscribe to the whole cart. Any of these sites I can dive into at the end and actually go through it. These are just screenshots. But these are all live stores, all using Bold Subscriptions. You can go to any of them and kind of play around with them if you want as well too. So, and then kind of the last style of subscription is what we call a meal plan. You can use it for various products, but the meal plan is the most common one. And that's where you subscribe to a set of meals. It can be 4, 8, 12, whatever it is. You pick quantities, and then every week or 2 weeks, depending on the frequency, your customers log back in and say, okay, no, I want to decrease this by 2, add 2 here, and kind of tweak it. And that's it just fits well for meal plans because usually people don't want the same thing over and over and over. And then lastly, sometimes it's just a subscription. This is a store, Sips By. They're down in Austin, great company. And they only sell subscriptions. So you notice there's no option here to buy this product one time. They only sell a subscription. And so they sell a tea box, and they're doing great. So some of the stats that we know of all subscription customers when we look at our app and the data, this is just interesting for people running stores, is we know that on average they're 24 to 44 years old. They're mostly urban. They live in large cities. On average, they make 50 to 100K as a house income. And 60% of them are women, surprisingly. So, but what's interesting is more women subscribe to subscription boxes, but men actually buy more of them. So, knowing your market is important. And with data like this, if you have a product that is more women buy, maybe you want to invest more in acquiring new customers. But if it's a subscription box that more men buy, you maybe want to double down on upselling them and getting them to subscribe to more boxes. So you want to offer maybe more things they can subscribe to. So the data is just there, and you can use it to your advantage. So we're going to dive into it here. There's 3 types of subscriptions. We boil it down to replenishment, curation, and access. So replenishment is shampoo every month, the same product every month over and over. I want my toilet paper, I want it every month. Same thing, that's pretty straightforward. Curation is, the best example is just box of the month. It's different every month. You don't know exactly what you're going to get, and it's a surprise, and you're delighted when you open it. That's the general curation. It can take many shapes and forms. You can subscribe to an outfit. It might not be a box of the month. We have a lot of stores doing an outfit of the month, so you get a top, a bottom, and an accessory, and it's hand picked, so it's almost like your personal shopper. But curation comes in many shapes and forms. But interestingly enough, curation subscriptions represent 55% of all subscriptions. It's the biggest segment. And then there is VIP or access style subscriptions. They represent 13%. What that is, you're subscribing to something for access. The biggest example of that is, of course, like Netflix, things like that. But it can be a site where you have tutorials, or you have content, or you have public content on your blog, but you also have exclusive content, maybe an exclusive community, any type of access. It might even be like VIP access to pricing. Costco is a great example of that. You pay once a year to get a Costco membership, and then you earn Costco not loyalty points, rewards. It's money rewards, but you earn it faster than a regular customer. So those are the 3 types, which I'll get into in a bit. But they don't have to be mutually exclusive. The stores that are actually really seeing the biggest success are the ones that have figured out how to blend them all together, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. So I'm gonna go through this part really quick. This is just to kind of frame the different types of subscriptions that we see, and the hope here is that if you're not currently running a subscription program in your store, you might kind of think, oh yeah, I could do this, or maybe I'd have a product. I just want to say, like, we see just about everything being sold as a subscription. You don't think you might have a subscription product, but you'd be surprised, even if it's just like access to a community. Like, you might buy a GoPro, and you're not going to subscribe and get a GoPro every month, but you might pay $15 a month to have access to the GoPro community, where you can see other people's videos, get suggestions, get tips and tricks on how to edit your GoPro videos. So there's often a way you can add some type of a subscription model to your products. I would never personally buy an iPhone case every month, but some of our biggest customers are selling iPhone cases. They subscribe every month. They're sunglasses of the month. So really just think outside the box if you're not currently offering subscriptions. So mystery box, cart, product, memberships, build a box, and convertible. I'm just going to really quickly highlight what each of these are. Mystery box, that one's pretty straightforward. It's a box every month. Customer doesn't know what they're going to get. You fill it with curated products. And the key here is often the products are free to the store. So if a lot of the beauty boxes and any of the boxes out there, what most people don't know is that the content in the boxes is generally given to the subscription store as samples, in the hopes that then when the customer gets that, they might buy more. So for example, if you have a fishing tackle box of the month, all the different fishing tackle companies send their tackle to it for free, and then they have a little brochure or ad or something in it. And then the hope is that the customer then buys more. But it's a great model because it doesn't cost the box maker anything. They get the products from other suppliers. So cart subscription, this is where you add a whole bunch of items to a cart and you subscribe to the cart. These are great for things where it's like household goods. Maybe you want to add toothpaste, shampoo, toilet paper, like dish soap, everything you would use around in a house, and then subscribe. We also see it be quite popular in the B2B space. So it works really well with stores because it works perfectly with our wholesale pricing, bold custom pricing. So if you sell B2B and stores are carrying your products, we've seen manufacturers get their dealers to put their products on subscription. So instead of saying, hey, every month, instead of remembering to order and that shelf goes empty and you don't have product on it for a week, I'm looking at your records and you've been selling 6 of these a month on average. Why don't we put you on a subscription for 6 a month? You could even offer a discount, give them 5% off if they subscribe. So it's actually a great B2B solution as well too. So if you kind of know what they're buying every month, get your business customers who are paying wholesale to subscribe. It's worked really well for a lot of our merchants. Product, talks about this one. This is straightforward. It's subscribing to a single product, getting the same product every month. Membership is access. I'll talk a little bit about some different ways you can do that, but that can be exclusive access to products, content, better prices, VIP loyalty points, or even offline services. So, one of the brands that uses our subscription app, they're in the fashion jewelry space, and every year at Coachella they have a massive event, but you have to be a subscriber to get in, and it's pretty exclusive. They bring celebrities in, so that's an offline event that they use to. It's just extra value that the subscribers get. Build a box, talked about this one, so I won't dive into it, but that's the meal plan. And then convertible, this is the one I didn't chat about, but one of the biggest ways, there's 2 ways this can happen. It can be like the try before you buy, so small to big, or big to small. And I'll just give 2 examples, but the try before you buy is, let's say you sell coffee and your coffee is $20 a bag. You can have a bag of coffee that's $5 or even free. So maybe it's just free plus shipping. The customer can buy it, free plus shipping. If they don't cancel, it will then auto renew at the full $20 bag price next month. That's, and it can go the other way as well too. So it can go from big to small. So big to small is let's say it's a coffee maker and coffee. First month they get the coffee maker and then just the coffee. So that's convertible. Okay, so standing out in a crowded space. This is kind of what we wanted to chat about. So when we looked at, so this is a study done by McKinsey. So the 3 types of subscriptions are replenishment, curation, and access. Don't worry about all the words. There's a lot of stuff here to take in, but for each different type, there's reasons they start, reasons they continue, and reasons they cancel. It boils down to this. The number 1 reason people start a subscription is because it's recommended by a friend. The number 1 reason people continue is because personalized experience, and the number 1 reason people cancel is because they're dissatisfied with the product. So knowing that, this is what some of the best subscription brands out there are doing to address it. So the number 1 reason people start, recommended by a friend. Let's look at a few stores that are really addressing this well. So Pure Vita, great brand. If you're on Shopify, you've probably heard about them. They do a fantastic job with social proof. I would encourage any of you to go and check out their site. Go to Pure Vita Bracelets. Actually, I think I might even have it up here. So if you head over to their site, you'll see, when I took that screenshot, they had 19,000 reviews. Now they have 21,000. So they work in, pictures of what their previous month's bracelets look like. We scroll down a little further, their Instagram feed, reviews. I mean, there's like every bit of social proof you would ever need on their page for you to make a decision. So, and then that's screenshot the same one. Another one I thought did a really good job of this is Sugar Bear Hair. They're quite popular. They sell the gummy vitamins that enhances your hair. A lot of celebrities actually use them. If you check them out on Instagram, they're a Bold Subscriptions customer, and they also do a really good job of helping encourage social proof. A lot of it's actually through Instagram, but they, again, show a lot of that results on the website. And then lastly, like the other main way, of course, there's like tons of ways you can get your customers to refer. These are just some of the digital ways, but like a good referral program. So you might as well encourage your customers to refer. If they buy, and by encouraging, I just mean like using a good referral tool. So actually a few ones that we recommend. What a referral tool does is when a customer subscribes or makes a purchase, it gives the customer the opportunity to share a link and then get a discount or get a reward of some sort. So they can just share that on Facebook, like, hey, I just bought this and I love it. And if they share that link and someone else makes a purchase, then they get some type of a reward. It can be a product, it can be monetary, it can be store credit. So there's various ways. Kick Booster is a great one to refer a subscription for cash rewards. Referral Candy, refer a subscription for a discount on an existing subscription. And then Refersion, again, refer a subscription for cash rewards. These are three that we recommend. So if you looking for ways to encourage your customers, those would be three. There's a lot of other things too. Like we've seen people write handwritten notes, just a lot of other ways to get those referrals, but that's the number one reason people start. The number one reason people continue was personalized experience. And this is where you really got to get fun and creative. One of the brands that uses both subscriptions is a store called John's Crazy Socks. I would encourage you to check out their site. It's amazing. It's a father and son who started it. And he writes a note. So John, he's been in New York Times, CNN has done a story on him. Just a great guy. But he writes a handwritten note in every box. And he also puts a bag of his favorite candy of the month in the box as well too. And it's just a little thing, but if you follow his followers on Instagram, it's amazing how many people take a picture of the box and share it. Because who writes a handwritten note in a box and puts in like, hey, these are my favorite candies, you should try them. Super small little thing, but the amount of shares he gets on social media is through the roof. Another one that does a great job is, FabFitFun. I'm sure you've heard of them. They also do custom boxes, little things like custom tape, handwritten note, and then they put a surprise in each box as well too. And Pure Vita bracelets, who we just talked about as well too. So they sell bracelets, but every month you get stickers, you get other stuff. They send a postcard every month, which is really cool. So if you're traveling or doing something, you're going to use that postcard. And I'm pretty sure there's the postage is paid on them as well too. So then you can send a postcard, and it's, again, like free advertising, a great way to refer it. They do a lot of neat things. These are just a couple examples here as well too. But think of ways that help enable, or just that make it different, that make it personalized. This actually is both. This is personalized and enabling referring a friend as well too. So, and then the number one reason people cancel: dissatisfied with the product. So there's a few things you can do to address that. Actually, there's a ton of things. I'm going to just talk about two. We built some tools into both subscriptions specifically because of this. So we didn't used to have these tools built in years ago, but one of the big ones is offering customers an option to try different products and to swap. So what you're seeing here is a screenshot of we call it our our upsell by email module. Basically, when a customer subscribe to a product, you can trigger an email that goes out 5 days before the subscription. You can set it to whatever you want with an offer for another product at whatever discount you want. So it looks like this. It's like, hey, would you like to grab this extra bag of coffee? It's normally $22. Grab it for $9. Add the item to the cart. They get it one time the next month. And the idea here is if you're subscribed to the same product every single month and you get sick of it, you're probably going to cancel. That's why Netflix constantly recommends new shows for you to watch. If you subscribe to Netflix, you watch a series and you're done and you don't go back in, after a couple months, you might cancel it because you're not watching it anymore, or you got sick of the series you're watching. So Netflix is really constantly trying to push notifications on your phone, emails, to recommend new things, because people's tastes change over time, and they change with movies and they change with products. So so this is just one way you can get a new product in front of a customer, and it might save them. And if you know that the average customer churns after 3 months or 5 months, make sure you send out an offer for a different flavor or a different style or something at that time. And then one of the main things we make sure is that in the customer's managed subscription portal, they can swap and change products as much as they want, whatever you would allow them to. So you can make it so they can't, but we always recommend, of course, that you can. So instead of giving them the option to cancel, you can actually there's a full cancellation flow where when a customer says, okay, I want to cancel, and asks why. If they say, I no longer need the product, you can offer a product swap. If it says it's too much, you can offer a discount. If you say, I don't need it anymore, you can say, well, would you like to pause the subscription? So kind of like a different solution for each reason. But the key is to give them opportunities to change, because nobody's taste stays the same forever. And if you know that, and that's why the number one reason that people cancel a subscription is because they're dissatisfied with the product. They no longer need it. And that makes sense. So with all that said though, so like that's the number one reason people say, but at the end of the day, there's only one reason customers churn. And I think this is really important to know. There's one reason people cancel a subscription. Can you think what it is? I'll flip the screen in a second. So the only
Get your guesses in.
Type your guesses in. Yeah. The only reason people cancel any subscription, whether that's software, a product, a membership, anything, is when the perceived value is no longer greater than the cost. Plain and simple. That's it. So, like, think about Netflix. If you don't watch it for 2 months, you no longer perceive value in it. You just say, you know what, I haven't watched it for 2 months. I might cancel it. If you're getting a subscription to anything, a gym membership, and you haven't used it, or like there's different ways to perceive value. So knowing that is the only reason people churn, and people will tell you it's because maybe they don't have enough money, maybe they don't need it anymore. But when you boil it right down, that's still the value is not perceived, because people have money. It's just something else is more valuable to them that they want to use that money for. It's not like they have zero. Maybe there's the odd case, but it really does just boil down to. So to go back to what we said earlier, this is a real, like, if there's one big takeaway from this is it. So we looked earlier at the 3 types of subscriptions: replenishment, curation, and access. The biggest stores that are just knocking out of the park are the ones that blend all 3 together. So what does that look like? So you might sell a product that they're getting a product every month. Now, I want to challenge everyone to think about how can you layer in curation and access as well to it too. And what that does is it adds extra value. So maybe you create an exclusive community for subscribers. I know a lot of our brands do this. They have a Facebook group that's only if you're a subscriber. And they, actually I have family members in these groups. They're kind of like health recipe groups, and they get meal plans and once a month or twice a month. And because they're a subscriber, they are allowed in a group, and they can actually ask the cook, the chef, the dietitian, any questions they want. They have unlimited access to this dietitian because they're a subscriber. So already, I'm not thinking of my meal as $20 a month. I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting the meal plus I'm getting access to this dietitian. And then maybe you give them extra loyalty points. So we have a loyalty points app. One of the great ways we recommend people using it is if someone subscribe, put them on a higher tier of loyalty points so they earn points faster, or they can redeem them faster. So now they're getting exclusive access to a group, extra loyalty points. Maybe give them VIP pricing. This is the great thing. We have a customer pricing app that it doesn't have to be ours. It can be anyone, but you can have it so when they subscribe, they get 5% off everything else on the store as long as they stay subscribed as a customer. And that's good for everyone because they stay subscribed. And now that's another reason they might not shop somewhere else. They're going to come and shop with you. You can have different levels of discounts for different things. There are different subscriptions, but that's just another value that you're adding. Maybe you use a memberships app to give exclusive access to content, blogs, or sections on your site. This is a really common one. People will have, if you have any types of like tutorials or learning aspect to what you sell, you can lock down sections of your site and only show it to customers logged in with the proper tag, and the tag being that they're a subscription customer. And Bold Memberships kind of controls all that access. There's a couple other apps out there. Locksmith is a good one. Like we have one that does it, but I don't. Doesn't matter which one you use, but it's another great way to add value. Another thing you can do is give exclusive access to products or collections. So because you're a member, when a new product comes out, you have access to it a month before anybody else. It's value, and it might be a reason why people continue. Maybe you offer a monthly deal only for subscribers. And actually, the upsell by email is a great way to do that. So if one of the value propositions to your customers can be like, because you're subscribed, every month you're going to get an offer for 75% off some other product. So maybe you're subscribed to coffee, and as long as you're subscribed to coffee, each month you're going to get an offer for 75% off a new blend, the Christmas blend, the pumpkin spice blend, the holiday blend, or whatever. I might just keep my subscription because I buy coffee every couple weeks. I might want to just keep it to get that offer every month. Maybe you have an exclusive newsletter or content just for subscribers. This is a common one as well too. Or maybe you have a bonus product every month, potentially from a partner at no cost to you. So you have that coffee subscription, and other people who make coffee accessories would love to put their product in with you. Maybe it's custom spoon or cups or mugs, or can't think of a coffee example right now, but if you approached people that made other products in your space and gave them an opportunity to put their products in with your subscription, it's basically a channel. You become a distribution channel. When you have a huge subscriber base, you have a distribution channel. Now you can go to other manufacturers and leverage that and say, hey, I've got this distribution channel. Give me some free products, put it in. It adds value for your customers. It's value for them because it's exposure to their products, and their products might cost them pennies. I don't know. But it's just another value. So now when you look at this screen and you look at everything here, like imagine if you subscribe to something for $20 a month, but because you were subscribed, you got exclusive access to a community where you could ask any questions, experts, anything. You were earning double loyalty points. You got 10% off any other product on the website. You get exclusive access to content, blogs, like every week some tutorial comes out. You get exclusive access to products and certain collections on the website before anybody else does. You get a special deal every month. You get their insider newsletter. You get a bonus product every month. And now the time comes for you to think, I don't really need this product anymore. It's $20 a month. But then you start thinking about all the other value that's added. You're way less likely to churn or to cancel your subscription. And this is the thing that we don't see many stores doing, sadly. But the stores that do it, like they're the biggest stores out there. They figured this out. It's not complicated, but the number one mistake most subscription stores make is they think they have a product that customers want every month, and they're just going to continue paying for that product. And that's true for, on average, 125 days. Most stores, sadly, it's less. It's 60 days. They cancel after 2 months because the stores haven't figured out how to layer in all this extra value. And so I call it your value stack. This is the last slide, and I would just challenge any existing subscription stores to, as a takeaway, just really think about what your value stack is. What else? Is it just your product? Because if it is, you can expect customers to churn in 3 to 5 months. But if you're layering in other value through partners and communities and everything we just talked about, it will be drastically longer. And it costs money to acquire a customer, so the more you can do to keep them, the better. So really think about your value stack. And if you're new to subscriptions, think about all those different ways we talked about, that different types of subscriptions you can offer, and then think about your value stack. Because first you need a product to sell.
So if you guys do have a question, please post it in the comments. Yep. We will get to it. We've got a few extra minutes here. I also posted a link of for those that don't use subscriptions right now, where you can check out Bold Commerce subscriptions. There is also a, I believe, 60-day free trial for anyone who's new to it. So the great thing about that, if you haven't used it or you're on the fence, give it a try, see how it goes. You have 60 days to try it out and let those subscriptions come in too. So see if anyone has any questions, please post them. I know for me, like the biggest thing from hearing that is really like the importance of value, like you touched on. A lot of people think that their product is enough for a subscription business, but I think that's like the key missing piece is just getting whatever value you can add is going to be huge, and it's going to create loyalty. Like even with the Johnny's Crazy Socks, right? That personalized touch, like that's huge value. Or throwing in the candy, something like that. Like you're not going to get that anywhere else, right? So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, for some brands, the community is actually the biggest thing they sell. The community around is the number one value add for the customer, and like the product is a secondary to that.
Yeah. And even with Pura Vida, like most people wouldn't think bracelets, right? As a subscription business.
Yeah.
But they offer in such a unique way to make you want to subscribe, right? I know they offer a lot of, like they put a lot of different things in the actual package. Plus there's only certain bracelets you can get if you subscribe. So there's value added right there, that exclusiveness.
Yeah. Yeah, and they do offline events. They're and that's why, you know, they're one of the brands that they're very successful because they've really figured that out. So
so being creative and how you can add value is huge. All right, so we got a few. So from Dave, if I send product and they don't return it and cancel their credit card, do you use a third-party collection agency? I don't know if that's something you know off the top of your head.
Oh, so that would be different. That's not a subscription, that's a rental. We don't, like, I mean, as far, like from Bold's side, we don't handle any collections. One thing, we actually do have a number of people using the app in this way. So we have awesome guy that's doing golf club. Basically, you subscribe to a golf membership and you can have golf clubs. You get a driver shipped, and then you can use it for a month or 6 months. When you return it, you can get a different driver. There's the biggest thing that I know he's done, and there's a bunch of others, but it's collecting ID. So whether you do it, there's a few ways you can do it. You can do it as a required option field on the product. So you can use Bold product options, have one of the field as upload a driver's license or some form of ID, make it required. They can't check out unless they add that. So at least then you have their ID. I know for a lot of people who do this rental model that the fraud has been an issue. We don't handle any of the collections aspect of it. So I would want to make sure you gather as much information as you need. So if that's a thing and you are having to go to collection agencies because customers aren't returning it, make sure you collect that. There are companies that will insure rental business models as well too. I don't know them off the top of my head, but there's companies that offer insurance for that specific model. So if you are doing rentals, they'll look at like on average how many you have out. So it's just like business insurance, and then if that stuff doesn't come in, they cover it. So you might want to look into that.
Okay, awesome. So we're actually getting quite a few questions coming in. If there's anything that we can't answer here, we will get back to them afterwards. We'll respond to your comment. So if we don't answer it here, be on the lookout for us to answer your question. So we have another one here. I don't know if this is too technical for us to cover here. How do we activate upsell by email feature?
Oh, yeah. So you just need to be on the enterprise version of Bold subscriptions. And I think it's just as long as you're on the enterprise version, you'll see it in the app. So if you go under settings, account, there's an enterprise version. And then there's actually a bunch of features that are enabled. There's upsell by email, smart subscriptions. I think we just changed the name to product shuffle, which actually automatically changes the product every month for you. If you want to do like a product of the month or a box style subscriptions, full API access. There's a whole bunch of other things that are enabled with the enterprise version. The upsell by email, like the automated upsell by email, is in the enterprise version as well too. You can always do like an email every month automatically to your subscribers with a special offer. The automated one is nice because they click it once, it's automatically added to the next shipment. The customer doesn't have to enter their credit card or anything again because it's stored in Bold subscriptions. So they just click accept offer. There's one page that comes up to confirm, click again, it's added to the next subscription. They don't have to enter their credit card, their address, anything. The conversion rate on that is really good. We've seen, I think the highest we've actually seen is around 68%, but that's by no means the norm. But it's a very, very good conversion because these customers already trust you. They already have their credit card information, address, everything's with you. So they believe in you. So when you offer a product at discount, like the chance of them accepting it is very high.